Alright, I'm going to try my best to explain this. I'm not very good at explaining things, but I'll give it a go. So, the Beier unit itself, it connects to the LEDs via a ribbon cable, which you can just see there, a little one. It has two of them. Now, they look like this when they're new. And basically, they've got 10 wires in them. 2 non-coloured ones and 8 coloured. So the 2 non-coloured, the black and the white, they're your positives, and then the 8 colours are your negatives. Now the unit's what's called negative switching, so all it does is it switches the negatives on and off when required. The positives are live all the time, so do not forget your resistors. This is the wiring diagram for it, and as you can see, positive, black and white, goes up and it goes to all of your LEDs, and then your LED negatives go back to each colour depending on what you set each colour to do in the software. But you can tell any colour to do anything, so blue can be left indicator, orange could be high beam, so on and so forth. It's whatever you want it to be. So do not forget your resistors, because the Beier unit itself, it will output to the LEDs via the black and white cable in this ribbon cable, whatever the battery voltage is. So if you're using a 7.4 volt 2-cell LiPo, you're going to get 7.4 volt to the lights. So resistors, right? Don't forget them, because you will blow things. And I always put the resistor on the positive. You don't have to. I think some people do on the negative, but I always go between the positive black and white wire and the light itself. So that's what I do. Don't judge me, as it's all not very neat and tidy, but it is what it is. It works, and you won't see it, and that's all I care about. But yeah, in terms of like how do you actually go about wiring the truck, what I tend to do is go, right, where on the truck is the unit going to live? There. Right. I route all my circuits for all my lights. You know, you got your brake lights, left and right, reverse. Left and right, rear indicator, reverse light, marker lights. Obviously, you would have headlights as well, and you know, light bars on the roof and stuff like that. I route all of the wires, all of the circuits to all those individual lights to where the unit is going to live, and I just do that until they're all done, until all the wires are there, loose, just pairs and pairs of circuits, positives and negatives, and then I go, right. I go over to my computer, and you haven't got to use a PC, you can do it on pen and paper. But what I tend to do is this, so I make this and I work from left to right, so I've listed all of the circuits. This is the one for Dad's Night Hauler. It's quite basic, so it has only got 22 circuits. But list them all, and just number them as you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. So you've got obviously front left indicator, front right indicator, low beam, high beam, fog lights, which are the spotlights and the bumper. All the ones in blue are on the cab, all the ones in white are on the chassis, the beacons are separate. So do that, and then create your combinations. Now this isn't a very good example, so let me show you T-Rex. Right, this is the one for T-Rex, which has got the most lights on it. So I've got 40 circuits. And here I've created my combination, so I'll put all the lights together that I want to control at the same time. So right indicator, left indicator, neon, side lights, DRL, low, reverse, brake. And what I always do, you've got 2 physical ribbon cables. One of them's plugged in there and the other one will plug in there. I always use one for the chassis and one for the cab, because then I can simply unplug it and the cab can come off. So I always keep that in mind. Because obviously for this one, for example, the cab, as you can see, ribbon cable 2, it's got a lot of the lights on it that are specifically on the cab, and here it's got a lot of lights on it that are specifically on the chassis. There's always going to be a couple that are going to have to be plugged separate, like the ones in blue, for example. They are located physically on cab, but they have to be plugged into the chassis cable for reasons. But it's start off simple. If I go back to the Night Hauler. So yeah, just list all your circuits, create your combinations, obviously right indicator and left indicator. I always split them, as I say, chassis and cab, and then wire them into the colours that you've assigned. The colours can be anything. I just picked purple and went, that's going to be reverse. Blue, that's going to be my spotlights. Green, that's going to be my strobe lights, so on and so forth. And in the system, in the software, I'll put a picture up. You can go, you've got this little menu with all the colours, and next to it is a little drop down. If you click on that, you can select any output to any colour. So yeah, basically physically wise, it's physical wise. All your positives go to black and white, all your negatives go to colours. You can solder it directly to the cable like what I've done there, or you can use one of these, which is a AKL8 block. A very catchy name, Beier are known for that. Basically, you get a double-ended ribbon cable. One end goes into that plug, the other end goes into the unit. And then here you've got this grey block, 10 little inputs, and you can essentially push these pins down. You haven't got to solder or anything then, you just strip the wire and stick it in that hole, and then let go of the pin and it holds it in place. So that's going to go in the cab. That's going to be located roughly here. And then I'll have a double-ended ribbon cable to connect this to the unit, and all the cab lights will plug into that. So yeah, that is the simplest way I can explain it to you. You've got 8 colours, black and white are positive, colours are your negative. Create a list. This is the way I do it, alright? It's not the only way. Everyone has their own way. It's just for me, I can understand then how I've gone from beginning to end, and I can follow it. And I always keep one of these per truck, so I can go back to them in the future and go, right, I need to edit that one. Oh, that's output 4. Output 4 is left indicator, you know. So on and so forth. But it's just a way that I can understand the process, and then I can relate back to it, the physical truck, and just go, oh yeah, all those go to the orange, oh yeah, all the left indicator go to the blue, you know. And yeah, so that's it really. I hope that makes sense. I hope that helped. And yeah, I'm going to put the chassis now to one side, and I'm going to get on with a cab and use that one. Cheers.